Hi fellas, Ben back again on another one. This time, as promised on my Instagram page, we will be looking at these indicators. Well, there's a lot that's gone into these indicators. Seems like a simple, straightforward swap, but let me tell you, it isn't. It's a lot of work that's gone in, and this is the end result, as flush as it can get with the bike. And that's exactly what I was looking for from the beginning. I wanted something that would just sit flush within and within the contours of the bike. I did not want something sticking out. I did not want the indicator to come. When the bike landed on its side, I did not want the indicators to crack. It's because this bike has started. Has been going off-road forever now. About 2 years of off-road use, and you start to see a lot of broken indicators, and you do not want that to happen. One fix for the windshield from cracking was this, a small clamp, as you guys can see, and that did the job for the windshield. The windshield stopped cracking. Out of 10 faults, maybe 1 or 2 faults is what will get to the windshield. But the indicators, every single time I had a fall on the side, the indicators would take a beating. And for that, I got myself these fellas. These fellas are as stealth looking as they can get. You guys can see. And now they sure pack a punch. They are not as dull as one would expect. They are definitely as good as the OEM indicators. You really don't have a problem with the light part of it. It's just that it sits a little too close to the body. So, at night this does this job, but during the day, maybe it goes a bit unnoticed. And that's all right with me. At night, you have something which definitely is a solid swap for your indicators. Now, that being said, what all has gone into this? So this is how it looks from the back, and again, super flush into the frame styling. You can barely spot it from the back. So that's the tail, and if I were to move these straps, that's how they sit. Crazy, ain't it? So real nice flush design. And what's important about this is, a quick walkthrough. I'm not going to be boring you. I'm not going to be wasting any of your time. What's more important for you to understand when you want to install something like this is a lot of modification. The wire that I'm going to be attaching some pictures. You will have to look at it and then try and analyze and try and understand if this is doable. So the stock indicators have wires running with an adapter, not an adapter, a plug. So this has a different kind of plug where there are 2 terminals. Both wires are separate, and you have 2 terminals, and they go into a totally different kind of socket. Whereas the stock indicator would go into a totally different kind of socket. So you have to modify this to fit the socket inside or the socket of the bike. Well, something else that you'll have to keep in mind is so this is to be clamped in. This is to be shoved in, and the wires that come out of this, once you have the adapter installed of the stock indicator or the socket of the stock indicator installed to this, you will not be able to run a locking nut that holds this in place. So this indicator has a locking nut here that kind of screws into the body of the indicator, and holds things in place, and you will not be able to do that if you have done the soldering and all the wiring part of it. So first indicator goes in, then you run the locking nut, and only then you get to solder and swap out the wires. Now the problem with that, something like that, is you have to solder on the motorcycle. You'll have to find out a place where you can keep all the wire nice and clean, and then do the soldering, the shaky hand, and everything. You know how it is when you solder on when things are hanging, and there's a big difference when you have it resting on a surface and you solder. So you'll have to figure that out. So this is not an easy swap. I'm making it very clear, this is not an easy swap. This is quite demanding. Another thing that you'll have to understand is this will not work with the stock factory power supply. The power supply of the Himalayan is for four what do you call it, conventional bulbs, or incandescent bulbs with filaments, whereas that's going to be definitely heavy on the watts. So I'm looking at, I believe it could be an equivalent of 10 watt or 20 watts per bulb, and you are replacing that with something like an LED unit, which is definitely going to be consuming a lot less power, and so you will definitely experience hyperflashing. This thing will glow a little too quickly, and there will not be that sequence. You will not have a sequential pattern. You will not have this glow with that that intermittent glow, turn on and turn off. You will not find that kind of a pattern. You will have this glowing like that, out of control. So you will have to swap out the flasher relay. The flasher relay sits here, right about here, and on this machine it's a simple, I'm saying this again, on this particular machine, this is a 2018 Himalayan. I believe a 2017, 2018 and 2018 ABS version. All three have had the same kind of flasher relay, and that relay sat here. It's a 2-pin relay. You'll have to swap that out with something that I will be showing. I'll just attach another picture for you guys to see. Yep, so you'll have to swap that out with this, and this will do the job for you. It sits here, takes care of the balancing the wattage, and you will have no more issues. The indicators will work absolutely fine. The biggest task is for you to figure out how to wire this, how to have this first sit in place, and then lock it with the bolt on the back side, and then run the wire to the you'll have to cut the wire that comes along with this, and you'll have to attach one half of the wires that run into the socket of the motorcycle for the stock indicator. You'll have to solder these two wires, and do everything else that follows good wiring, insulation. So you'll have to do that. Yeah, and that's the only job. That's the task at hand. You will have to work on the motorcycle. You'll have to do the soldering, the running the sleeve and everything on the motorcycle, and that's a bit of a task. It's not easy. You cannot have the indicator all finished and put it here, because of one reason alone. It has a bolt on the other side, a nut on the other side that screws into the body of the indicator. Yep, so that's that. A quick video on this beautiful indicator. And yeah, coming to the price of this, this is an imported unit. This my friend from France got this with himself. He got along with him. This worked out to be 4,000 Indian rupees for 4 indicators, and that's a little too expensive. I understand, a lot expensive for a bunch of indicators, but if you were to look at it from another perspective, very high quality, and they are there forever. So from that perspective, you definitely are on the benefiting side. You don't have you shouldn't be thinking of this as money not well spent. You will never have this break and crack, is because this is as flush to the body as anything else, and this is definitely not going to be cracking in time. And very high quality product, very high quality product. So you can count on this to be there forever, and that way it's a wonderful mod which makes the bike look like that. Yep, so that's the story of the indicator. I am not running you through the installation, the wiring part and all that, is because that's definitely not a DIY. It's up to you to figure out whether you can install this onto your motorcycle or not. You'll have to take these indicators, go to a very, very good uh, garage and have somebody who has truckloads of patience handle this for you, and only then you will see this job done well. Otherwise, you're asking for trouble. Yeah, so you lose the stock indicators is because the wires will have to be cut, and yeah, at the most what you lose is you'll have to get another set of stock indicators if this doesn't work for you. Number two, this is quite expensive, so do not take chances if you don't think you are equipped to do something like this. Yep, so that was it. If this helped, it helped, and hopefully I will never have to replace another indicator again. So this is it for this one. Ben signing out for now. Ciao.